I'm Nadim Aziz, the CEO of the Rajen Reddy Foundation. We had officially launched the Rajen Reddy Foundation on the 18th of February 2022 in commemoration of our late Executive Chairman, Mr Rajen Reddy, and the philanthropic work that he had set out to accomplish. And although the work had been going on informally for the past few decades, the Rajen Reddy Foundation was a way of formalizing the good work that he had set out to do. Our late Executive Chairman, Mr Rajen Reddy, meant a lot of things to a lot of people. And on the ground, he had touched a lot of lives, especially those amongst the youth. And in formalizing the Rajen Reddy Foundation and in continuing Mr Rajen Reddy's legacy, we are of hope that those values that Mr. Rajen carried, portrayed and reflected, and also passed down to the youth, the new generation, is a way of encapsulating that amongst the youth, to carry that forward. And it's important for us to universalize those values that Mr. Rajen Reddy reflected onto us and to carry it forward in a way that everyone can relate to. We've identified that we currently have a generation who may have known Mr. Reddy personally, as well as the partnerships that we are involved in. And we've also identified that going forward, there will soon be a new generation who will be at the forefront in carrying objectives and goals forward and will want to do things in a new light and in a new way. And we find that it's so important that with universalizing these values within a ecosystem of value systems, that they are able to carry it forward and pass it on to the next generation. Mr. Reddy was extremely passionate about education, especially education amongst the youth, and he had shared a historical relationship with Durban University of Technology for the very same reason, and especially in industry-university relationships, in helping the university to establish adaptive graduates for the workplace. His main points of focus were on SMME development, and he had a great passion for passing down his own knowledge from his own personal experiences to those up-and-coming SMMEs. Mr. Reddy was both a mentor and a friend to many youth that knew him personally. Some of our partnerships include Durban University of Technology, who serves as our intellectual base here in KZN. We have a number of projects on the ground with them that we've been running since before we formally established the Rajen Reddy Foundation. And some of our other partnerships include South African BRICS Youth Association, which will encompass education amongst BRICS nations for the youth, especially in South Africa, and the effects that it would have and the impact it would have on our country, and especially those affecting the youth. They also touch on SMME development as well, and cultural exchanges. Another partnership of ours is the Nelson Mandela Foundation, where we are engaging with them on their Leading Like Mandela Leadership Development Program, which is their official leadership development program of the organization. And we are finding synergies between our flagship on leadership for freedom from poverty with theirs. So one of our other partnerships is with World University Association for Community Development. They are based in Indonesia and are associated with Elangga University in Indonesia. The history of this project, or partnership rather, began in 2020 when the Indonesian Embassy in Pretoria had invited Mr. Reddy as a guest speaker to engage on ethical leadership. The webinar had a focus on ethical leadership and was titled Ubuntu Values in the Hastabratha Story of Javanese Puppet Play. Javanese puppet play is used in Indonesia as a form of storytelling, which is didactic in function, and we find that communities in Indonesia use this form of storytelling within a community center, to engage on the community and solve societal problems and challenges together. Since the webinar, we found that there is much similarity between Ubuntu values, which are South African, and Hastabratha values, which are Indonesian. And we saw the need to adopt this form of storytelling within a South African context, which could give a voice to the untold struggles and stories of our people of the past. Since the webinar, a preparatory committee was formed, which includes experts on wayang kulit from Elangga University, experts on wayang kulit from the University of Bern in Switzerland, and SMME development from Durban University of Technology, Arts and Drama, and Community Engagement. We have brought the project to a practical stage of implementation, where we have published a book which was promoted at the Durban International Book Fair 2022, and we are now on the way to developing and finalizing an online module which will be open access to all students, non-students, participants and youth across South Africa to participate in this module and get a full understanding of the concept of wayang kulit storytelling. From this online module, we'd like to identify key or high potential stories that can be taken and transformed into theatrical performances. With that goes SMME development. So there is high potential with Durban University of Technology's Center for Social Entrepreneurship to be engaged on the SMME development side in the character development of wayang kulit as well as production. Another partner that we do have is Durban International Book Fair. We had engaged with Durban International Book Fair at the inaugural book fair launch last year in 2022. And this year we will be going on a drive to establish a few book clubs across communities in KZN, leading up to the Durban International Book Fair for 2023. Part of those book clubs include supplying communities or schools with books and themes to read for the year, which will then generate a competition amongst the youth within those book clubs and also amongst the schools to see who not only reads the most but could produce the most outcomes in terms of writing, poetry, performances. And we'll host a competition leading up to the book fair in August 2023 and select some of those high potential writing pieces, poetry and performances to be published into another book and promoted at the Durban International Book Fair. We'd also like to invite some of those youth to do performances on poetry and arts at the book fair as well. So the Rajen Reddy Foundation operates in the sphere of public diplomacy, and we have three aspects, or as we refer to them as our three pillars. It's education, physical health, and mental health. And under each aspect we have a flagship project. So under education we have the Rajen Reddy School of Leadership, where we have a core curriculum which is titled Leadership for Freedom from Poverty of All Kinds. So this encompasses mental poverty, physical poverty, spiritual poverty, and emotional poverty. And our main target audience for our core curriculum are SMMEs, because they are in a position to give the most leadership to the communities that they operate in. Under physical health, we have the Aurora Hospice for Children, where we currently have a site in La Mercy, where we are looking at developing and constructing the hospice. So while this may be a 2 to 5 year project to establish the site clearance and the construction of the hospice, we have identified key areas in which we can begin immediately, as well as a constituency of oncologists whom we can work with. Our third pillar is mental health, and under mental health we have the 24/7 365 call center on mental health and gender-based violence. We found the need to establish this call center stemming out of COVID-19 pandemic and the mental health challenges that we had all faced, as well as the state of gender-based violence, especially within a South African context. We have also identified a constituency of psychologists with whom to work, who are based at the Durban University of Technology's Counseling and Health Unit. And although the establishment of the 24/7 365 call center may be a 1 year to 2 year project to open up to the wider community, we have identified how we can begin with that immediately through the Aurora Hospice for Children. And we've identified the families that have been affected through the Aurora Hospice for Children that may need mental health support.